The movie starts by inviting you to imagine a heartbreaking and dazzling scene at the same time. Imagine standing in the middle of the ocean and seeing how the entire sea opens before you, revealing its deepest secrets to deliver the destiny of the whole world into your little girl's hands. That is how impactful this ancient legend begins. In those remote times, the goddess Tefiti, creator of all life, possessed a heart that held the absolute power to make entire islands flourish. However, where there is so much beauty, greed also awakens. Maui, a shape-shifting demigod as powerful as he is arrogant, decided that that heart should be his to give it to mortals and earn their adoration. Using his magic fishhook, he sneaked into the sanctuary and stole the sacred gem. But nature does not forgive. Upon losing her heart, Tefiti was devastated and the light of the world collapsed. To make matters worse, Maui didn't get very far. On his escape, he was intercepted by Teka, a relentless demon of lava, rock, and volcanic fire. The battle was so fierce that Maui fell defeated into the depths, losing forever both the heart and his sacred fishhook. 1,000 years after that catastrophe, a silent darkness is devouring island after island, ending vegetation and scaring away marine life. On the peaceful island of Motunui, Grandmother Tala tells this terrifying myth to the children of the tribe. While most cry from fright, a little girl named Moana listens in wonder. But the magic doesn't last long, because Chief Tui, Moana's father, appears imposing the island's golden rule with a sharp voice. No one must ever cross the reef. Who hasn't had a father with super strict rules who promises that outside the house there is only danger? Well, Tui is the perfect example. Despite the prohibitions, destiny had already made its choice. As a mere toddler, Moana walks along the shore and helps a little turtle reach the sea safely. Moved by her nobility, the ocean spirit itself comes to life before her eyes, opening the waters and depositing in her little hands a shiny green stone, the heart of Tefiti. Just as she tries to understand what that mysterious gem is, her father interrupts her and the stone falls into the water. The years pass, and Moana grows torn between her love for her people's customs and a magnetic call that pushes her to stare toward the horizon. Her father prepares her to assume the leadership of Motunui, taking her to the top of the sacred mountain to teach her that tradition demands placing a stone on the mountain, symbolizing that her place is on the land and never in the sea. But the calm doesn't last long. Suddenly, the black rot reaches Motunui's shores. The crops rot, the coconut trees dry up, and the fishermen's nets come back empty. Facing the crisis, Moana proposes a logical solution. Sail beyond the reef to fish in deep waters. Her father's reaction? Enter absolute rage and drastically forbid it. Later, her mother confesses the sad reason behind Chief Tui's stubbornness. When he was young, he also tried to defy the ocean with his best friend, but an impetuous storm capsized their boat and his friend drowned. Since that fateful day, her father swore to protect his daughter by closing the doors to the sea. Driven by the desperation to save her people, Moana decides to try her luck in secret. She climbs into a canoe with her pig Pua and tries to cross the waves of the reef, but the sea hits her mercilessly. In an anguishing scene, the boat capsizes and the ropes trap her underwater. Moana fights desperately for her life until she manages to surface, returning to shore completely defeated and wounded in her pride. Thinking that it was all nonsense and that her father was right, she meets her grandmother Tala. In an extremely reflective and moving moment, the grandmother guides her to hidden caves inside the mountain. By striking an ancient drum, the torches light up, revealing the hidden past of her tribe. Their ancestors were not simple farmers. They were great navigator explorers who sailed the oceans guided by the stars. But the emotion quickly turns into tragedy. Grandmother Tala falls gravely ill and on her deathbed hands her the necklace with the heart of Tefiti that she had kept for years. With her last strength, she demands that Moana fulfill her mission. Cross the reef, find Maui, grab him firmly by one ear, and force him to return the heart to save the world. As the grandmother takes her last breath, her spirit metamorphoses into a dazzling luminous manta ray. Moana, armed with giant courage and in tears, takes an ancestral canoe and challenges the waves on a night full of emotion. Sailing blindly through the ocean is not easy, and even less so when you discover you have a stowaway. The rooster Hai, the most clueless and incapable creature in the history of animation. After miraculously surviving a torrential storm, the canoe wrecks on a remote island where the so acclaimed Maui was trapped. And here comes the most comical encounter of the story. Upon seeing the young woman, Maui doesn't hesitate to boast arrogantly about all his feats by singing at the top of his lungs. Taking advantage of Moana's fascination, he cleverly tricks her, locks her in a cave, and steals the canoe to escape. But Maui didn't count on one detail. The ocean is on Moana's side. Every time the demigod tries to get rid of her by throwing her into the water or trying to flee alone, the sea returns Moana to the boat or throws Maui back onto it. There is no way to escape this forced alliance. The journey takes a dangerous turn when they are ambushed by the Kakamora, a tribe of tiny and savage pirates dressed in coconut armor. In a frantic action scene, the pirates steal the heart from Hai, forcing Moana to board the enemy ship on her own and rescue it in a maneuver worthy of the best heroine. But to return the heart, they must first face Taka, and Maui refuses to fight without his sacred magic fishhook. The search leads them to Lalatai, the underground realm of monsters, where Tamatoa lives, a disproportionate and vain giant crab obsessed with accumulating shiny treasures. In one of the funniest scenes, Moana uses the crab's own megalomania to her advantage, flattering him to buy time, while Maui tries to recover the fishhook. Although the demigod discovers with frustration that he has lost practice and cannot control his transformations, Moana pretends to hand over a fake shiny fishhook to the crab, and they manage to escape with the real relic by the skin of their teeth. Back on the canoe, the atmosphere becomes intimate and revealing. Maui, feeling fragile for not controlling his powers, confesses the truth about his tattoos and his origin to Moana. He was born as an ordinary human, but his parents didn't want him and threw him into the sea. The gods saved him, gave him the fishhook, and turned him into a demigod. All that desperate search for feats was not out of pride, but a painful desire to feel accepted and loved by men. Moana shows him pure empathy, reminding him that his true value does not come from what the gods gave him, but from who he is inside. They finally sight the dark shores of Te Fiti, but the path is blocked by the terrifying demon Te Ka, throwing projectiles of lava and ash. Maui tries to open the way by transforming, but he makes the mistake of forcing the fight, and the monster's impact deeply cracks his magic fishhook. Devastated and terrified by the idea of losing his tool forever, Maui argues bitterly with Moana and decides to abandon the mission, flying away in the form of a hawk. Moana is left completely alone in the immensity of the water. Broken by frustration, she breaks down crying and reproaches the ocean for having chosen her, assuring that she is not the right one. She returns the heart of Te Fiti to the depths of the sea and falls defeated in the boat. Have you ever felt so overwhelmed by a responsibility that you simply want to give up and leave everything behind? In that instant of maximum darkness, the luminous manta ray emerges from the deep waters. The spirit of grandmother Tala returns to embrace her with her light. The souls of her navigator ancestors manifest around her, infusing her with breath. In a moving song, where Moana finally understands who she is, she submerges in the ocean, recovers the heart of Te Fiti from the depths, and heads the boat directly toward Te Ka, ready to finish the mission alone if necessary. The final battle is pure adrenaline. Moana dodges the fire attacks with impressive skill, but when Te Ka is about to crush her with a destructive punch, Maui reappears in the air, sacrificing his fishhook to block the blow, while the demigod distracts the monster by accepting the destruction of his sacred weapon to protect his friend. Moana reaches the top of the island and discovers something terrifying. The goddess Te Fiti has disappeared, and the silhouette of the lava monster fits perfectly with the empty space of the stolen heart. Te Ka and Te Fiti are the same entity. Moana asks the sea to open the waters to create a path. She walks calmly toward the colossal fire demon while singing her a sweet melody of understanding and respect. In a moment of absolute cinematic beauty, the magma creature brings its burning face close to the young woman's, who gently places the green stone on its chest. The lava cracks, the fire goes out, and the stone crust dissolves to give way to the majestic goddess Tefiti, whose touch immediately returns vegetation, flowers, and life to the entire planet. With the balance restored, the goddess grants Maui a new magic fishhook as a reward for his true act of heroism, and Moana says goodbye to her friend with an emotional hug. Back in Motunui, the island blooms more radiant than ever. Moana's parents receive her with tears and supreme pride hugs. Finally, in the ceremony on top of the mountain, Moana breaks with the tradition of placing an inert stone and places a shiny seashell in its place. The story closes in a spectacular way, with the entire tribe unfurling the sails of their ancestral canoes, launching themselves again to explore the immense ocean like the true navigators they always were. If you like this emotional and thrilling story, don't forget to give the video a good like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next stories. See you in the next adventure.